In the teal, Jacksonville won the toss, deferred the option of the second half. So Mark Mariani, who took one back 98 yards already this year, will bring it back for the Titans. Also had a big return last week in the win over Dallas.
Not bad for the 222nd player selected in the draft. What an impact early.
Scobie kicks it. Off we go from Jacksonville. Mariani from a couple of yards deep. Net in the hole at the 20, and the drive will start at 21. Don Carey made the tackle. Out of the University of Texas, the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy when he won the national championship, Vince Young, number 3 overall pick in that draft. Vince Young's season so far, as alluded to earlier in Monday Night Countdown, his numbers aren't going to wow you, but he still finds ways to win football games.
No, he had one bad outing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he's had his best offseason. He's very familiar with this offense now, and I think he's going to come out throwing the football tonight.
Drive start from the 21. First play, first pass is incomplete, very high, overthrowing Nate Washington. Rasheed Mathis with the coverage. Hanging out with Vince Jackson in the Tennessee offensive unit. Of course, Chris Johnson over 2,000 yards last year. Ahmad Hall blocks for him. Another UT guy, Bo Scaife, the tight end. Washington and Kenny Britt, Justin Gage out again with a hamstring injury tonight. Up front, starting center Eugene Amano injured his ankle Friday. We have to watch he and Leroy Harris as the night goes on. Johnson, first carry. About 2 yards, third and 8 coming. Terrence Knighton made the tackle. He's part of a defense up front, 30th of 32 in points and yards allowed. Derek Harvey, first-round pick, is struggling mightily. They like Alualu, the first-round pick of this year. Hampton, the former Packer. Backers are good. Smith, Morrison used to be a Raider. Justin Durant back from injury. This secondary, good luck. Rasheed Mathis back there. Courtney Green, Gerald Alexander. Hey, the guy who started the last couple of games for them at safety, Anthony Smith, was traded yesterday.
It's not a good sign.
No, not really. With rookie Damian Williams, the third receiver, Young's pass is complete to Kenny Britt. The rookie, the second-round pick, second-year man out of Rutgers, gets a first down.
Well, again, the secondary of the Jaguars has struggled. Vince Young back to pass, just an easy routine hook route. And David Jones, the corner, he gave up 15 catches to Reggie Wayne. I think you got to tighten it up on 3rd and 7, Jaws.
Well, when you play that quarters coverage, you have the isolation route on the outside, and Vince Young found it. But I agree that David Jones got to be a little tighter.
The first down play action toss to the tight end Scaife. Wide open to the 40-yard line. Gain of 27.
Oh, I love that play selection by Mike Heimerdinger. The Jaguars are playing an 8-man front repeatedly on early downs. Just a simple fake off the left side, and watch number 80, Bo Scaife, release up the field and run a corner route. Uncontested, easy throws. Well-designed play, and the Titans are coming out throwing again. They did this last week against the Dallas Cowboys. They are loosening up the Jaguars secondary.
Well, it's a Jaguars secondary that everyone has exploited this season. I'm sure Vince Young is looking at it and saying, hey, let's wing it.
Chris Johnson, right. Mathis hits him first. Derek Harvey finishes. And a flag down. Late flag thrown. Figure to see a lot of flags tonight. One of the best referees in the league, Mike Carey, be in control tonight. Mike who worked Super Bowl 42.
Grabbing the face mask. Jacksonville number 28. Unnecessary roughness. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Opening of the ear hole, grabbing that constitutes a face mask foul. Mathis grabbing underneath the helmet is called. I don't think he ever really got in the ear hole. He really got under the helmet. Another first down throw for Vince Young. Complete to Britt. Kenny Britt to the end zone. Opening drive touchdown, Tennessee.
A lot of people criticizing Vince Young's inability to throw it. How about that drive? He used an array of different receivers. And again, just take a straight drop back, look for Kenny Britt on a square end. The ball's thrown perfectly. And Kenny Britt is a very physical man after the catch. Great finish by Britt.
Well, there's a star on David Jones right now at that right corner for the Jaguars. They're just attacking him. You get those one-on-one isolation routes with no help. It's pitch and catch for Vince Young.
Rob Barones adds the extra point. Not exactly the greatest safety play either by Alexander in the back end. Not the first time we're going to say that tonight. The Titans on top in the first couple of minutes. Some of the great beaches around here. Jacksonville Beach, great beach to go run on. Spectacular couple of days here. Haven't seen a cloud in the sky. We better make sure Kenny Britt's okay and stretched out because he may have a lot of running to do in that secondary of the Jaguars. 23-yard touchdown officially, and it's 7-0 out of the gate for Tennessee.
The Jaguars, it's been a revolving door in the back end of this defense. Don't be surprised if they make some more changes at safety.
You compound that with no pressure on Vince Young. Pretty easy back there so far.
Barones to kick. Deji Kareem, the rookie who made his debut last week in Buffalo, did a nice job returning kicks. Keeps on his feet. Good job by Kareem. Really like this guy. To the 31-yard line. Well, John, just to talk about the point you and Jaws were bringing up, the secondary play and the issues for Jacksonville. They've allowed 24 pass plays of 20 yards or more, most in the league, 2 on that first drive. And the 40-plussers, they're at the top of that list, or the bottom of that list as well.
Yeah, that's why when you're a quarterback and you're prepping all week and you're studying the tape and you see holes in that defense, you're lobbying for pass plays. And I'm sure Vince Young was doing that. And, of course, Mike Heimerdinger, the coordinator, obliged.
David Garrard hands to Maurice Jones-Drew on the first carry. Vicious hit there as Jones-Drew plows forward. He ran over Stephen Tulloch for an opening gain of about 5.
How about that finish? This is a strong safety blitz right off the right side, and Maurice Jones-Drew just hides behind his pads in his offensive line, and he'll lower the boom. This guy's got impressive lower body strength. I'd really like to see him get heated up tonight.
5 yards there, 4-11 on the season. He started this week 8th in the league in rushing yards, Jones-Drew. Second carry as he spins with a flag down as Garrard used the hard count to try to draw the Titans offside.
Offside. Defense number 91. 5-yard enforcement results. First down.
I don't know how many times we saw them practices. Listen at home. Can't hear it, but David Garrard practiced this hard count with motion at practice at least 30 times. We were there. You got to keep this defensive line of the Titans honest. They get off the ball as well as any group in football.
Play action first down. Garrard faked it to Kasim Osgood. It was well covered by Tennessee. And the pass incomplete for Garrard. Jaws off the 3-touchdown performance in Buffalo last week. Garrard, as you have pointed out during the week, what a barometer he is for how the Jaguars do.
Yeah, he just has to play more consistent. He had 2 terrible games, one against Philadelphia, one against San Diego. He's come back with 2 solid games against Buffalo and Indianapolis. They need consistent quarterback play out of David Garrard because they're going to run the football, and he's going to get those isolation routes as well because teams will load up the box against Jones-Drew.
A gun run with Maurice. And we'll have 3rd and 8 coming up. Couple of yard gain. So Jones-Drew is in there in the backfield with Garrard. Greg Jones blocks for. Mercedes Lewis might be on his way to becoming the most complete tight end. Catching the ball and blocking. And the receivers, Sims Walker, a slow start. Thomas big on 3rd down like we have coming up. You know, in the draft last year, their first couple of picks were the guys on the end. Monroe and Britton, they do a good job. And a salute to Brad Meester. His 151st start. The center passes Jimmy Smith. Most starts Jacksonville history. 3rd and 8. Zach Miller releasing out of the backfield. Garrard's throw is not even close as he was pressured and brought down by Jason Babin. And after 1 first down, Del Rio's team will punt.
Jason Babin, what a story this guy is. He's been quiet for about 5 years. Watch him get off the ball. He's come in here to lead this team in sacks. He's working against Eben Britton. I don't know of a better story in football than Jason Babin, Jaws. This is his 5th team. He's found a home here, and he really fits this defense.
Yeah, 5.5 sacks coming into this game. What a turnaround of his career.
Detail it later. He was a first-round pick of Houston in 04, and a lot of people gave up on him. Adam Podlish with a good rush against him. Kicks it away. Mariani trying to fair catch. No flag thrown there. Yeah, now here comes one for interfering with the opportunity to fair catch.
Wow, that was a late call for the fair catch.
Kick was 47 yards. Don Carey down there covering.
Guy's coming at you full speed. The hand goes up. Pretty hard to pull off. He tried.
I'm sure Mike Carey will give us an explanation here.
Starting already, John.
5 minutes in, 3 flags. 7, 8 flags a quarter tonight. Figuring that. Mike Carey will tell if it's a foul on Don Carey.
Eventually.
There's no foul on the play. The signal came late, and the contact was incidental. First down, timeout.
Jeff Fisher's on the competition committee for the NFL, so he'll get an explanation during this time. Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Autotrader.com. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Michelle Tafoya here at Everbank Field. New name for the place that used to be called the Gator Bowl many years ago. Vince Young, second try, starts at the 10. Chris Johnson gains 3. Just short of the 14-yard line. So Vince Young, there have been really mileposts in Young's career against Jacksonville the last 2 years. It was the opener 2 years ago, hurt his knee, booed off the field, then that whole incident where they couldn't find him for a few hours. Kerry Collins took the team to the playoffs. But after the 0-6 start last year, Young came in, got his starting job back against the Jaguars, led them to a victory, and went 8-2 as a starter, and is off to the 3-2 start this year. Johnson up the middle, going to be a yard shy of the first down. And because of the presence, Ron, of the 2,000-yard back from last year, Chris Johnson, it makes it so important that Vince Young, early on in games, is good so they can get Johnson rolling later.
No question about it. When you have Chris Johnson in the backfield, you're going to get 8 or 9 in the box. That's going to give Vince Young those one-on-one routes to the outside. They're easy to find reads for the quarterback. If they get their passing game going early, I'll tell you, Chris Johnson can light it up.
Fullback Ahmad Hall in front of him for 3rd and 1. And they'll give to Hall. He pounds it forward, and depending on the mark, the line judge comes in with it at the 30, which will be enough for the first. First down for Tennessee. Now Mike Carey said first down. Now he's going to measure.
Well, speaking of Ahmad Hall, what a great visit we had with him last night. The ex-Marine, played at the University of Texas. He's seen Vince Young since he was 18 years old grow up into a pro quarterback. He's probably shocked he got that call right there with Chris Johnson and Javon Ringer. Big first down.
It's the first run of the year for the
fullback. It's a reverse pivot. It's wedge blocked up front. He knows what he's got to get. Lower your pads, physically get it done. A great run on 3rd down and 1, Jaws, at 1 yard.
And he got the 1. That's
good
all
fullback right there. He's very underestimated what he does for this Tennessee Titan offense.
From the 20, the pressure comes. Vince gets rid of it. Trying to get post scathed. The safety Gerald Alexander was covering. Kirk Morrison brought the pressure.
Well, excuse me, Jaws. One thing about this Jaguar defense is they only had 14 sacks last year. They went out and got Aaron Campman. They went out and drafted Tyson Alualu. They brought in Kirk Morrison, but they need the blitz to get pressure on the quarterback. That time they did a good job coming off the edge.
Yeah, they got pressure, and Vince would have had time. It was a zero coverage. There was no one deep in the middle of the field. If he would have had time, he had a shot for the big play.
2nd and 10, lost the snap, lost a couple of yards. But ball came out again, and Campman's got it on the pile. Jaguar ball. And Young, I believe, is shaken up on the play. It is Vince Young hurt at the bottom of the pile.
Well, I've been in those situations when the ball goes on the ground and you start putting your arms and your hands down there. You've got guys diving at the ball, and there's a real good chance to get hurt.
We'll check on Young. It's a big turnover and a bigger story with the injury as well. Oh, you hate to see this as Vince Young is limping off. He was being helped by his teammates, not putting any pressure on his leg before this, but that's a little bit better sign. Here's the replay, Jaws.
Yeah, he was the snap was a little bit short as Vince was pulling out, but here he picks the ball up, and he's trying to make something out of nothing, and he just gets grabbed, and Daryl Smith kind of pulls him back over, and I'll tell you, it's good to see Vince limp off the field because it looked pretty bad.
Got a challenge coming here, guys. Jeff Fisher threw the flag.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Jacksonville. It's being challenged by Tennessee.
All right, so they'll have the challenge look. They'll look at Vince Young. Terry Collins is the backup. It's ruled Jags ball at the plus 18. Vince Young hurt. Tennessee challenging this play, and this is really a hard moment for Vince. You just see him with a private moment of prayer, hopeful over the injury as the doctors look at him. Now, the football part is there's a challenge here, and it's uncomfortable to watch this challenge because it's watching how the injury happens. But is his knee or shin, the one that gets hurt here on the left side, down while he still has possession of the ball? Right there, the knee is down, and you're starting to piece together a couple of different looks to see if the ball's coming out or if he has it while that knee is bent like a pretzel and just uncomfortable to watch. The knee is down there. Does he have the ball in his possession while his knee is down? He's being contacted by Daryl Smith. That's what they're looking at, Mike Carey, in replay here.
I think he's down, but I'm just shocked that Vince Young got up and walked away from that. I've seen a lot of fumbled snaps this year, Mike. A lot of these quarterbacks, they spend so much time in the shotgun, not as much time underneath as they used to.
John, I agree with you. In fact, Vince has thrown 96 times coming into this game. 42 of those have been out of the shotgun, so he doesn't spend a whole lot of time under center.
And we had Eugene Amano in there at center. He was injured, turned his ankle late in the week in practice as well.
After review, the quarterback's knee was down with possession before the ball came loose. Therefore, it is down by conduct. Tennessee is not charged with a team timeout. It'll be 3rd and 12 on the 18-yard line.
And that means if there's a second Tennessee challenge, they will be able to get a third if they win that second challenge. So 3rd and long, and boy, what a great situation to have as a guy for a backup, although the things you do offensively change. Kerry Collins, who was once the number 5 pick of the 95 draft, been to the NFC Championship game, the Super Bowl, a guy who started 170 games in the NFL, able to step in.
Well, he should be loose. The challenge allowed him to get loose.
Third and 12. Collins loads up and throws complete for the first down to Damian Williams. And with that completion, he ties Dan Fouts for 10th all-time in NFL history for completions.
Well, how about the poise, man? The guy comes in off the bench. He gets a few throws to get loose, shows great poise in the pocket, and throws a strike. That looks like Kerry Collins from 1995.
Yeah, Jacksonville came with the pressure, the 5-man rush, so he had the one-on-one work in the outside. Outstanding protection by the Titans O-line, and that's a good O-line.
Chris Johnson, loss of a couple of yards. So let's go back to Kerry Collins here for a second after Lige Duzabel made their tackle. Kerry Collins did go to the Pro Bowl in 2000. It was a legit go to the Pro Bowl. Not 17 other guys said no thank you.
Yep.
You know, won 12 games to this team after that Vince Young injury we showed you in the opener against Jacksonville. He's a player who's in the final year of his contract, and it's a very different player from Vince Young because of the skill set. So as this goes in, when Collins is in the game, it's a different story of what Mike Heimerdinger, the coordinator, calls. Second and 12. Pocket collapsing. Flag down. Collins complete to Kenny Britt. First down yardage. Let's check the flag.
There's a flag on the play.
Get your Vince Young update in a second.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving, not set for a full second before the snap. 5-yard penalty is still second down.
Michelle Tafoya.
Well, as you saw, Mike, it looked very grim at first, and Vince Young was praying. They have put a brace on that left knee, however, and so you see him testing it out here, trying to see if he can put some weight on it, and his mood seems to have lifted since they did that. He seems to be doing a lot of fist pumping, a lot of clapping. Now, we'll see what they determine, whether or not he can actually go in and play on it, but that's where we are right now, Mike.
All right, Michelle, thank you. The trainers immediately do stability check for the ligaments on the sides there. The fact that Vince is up and walking, the first good sign. Collins' pass is knocked down and incomplete. We'll have third and long coming. Terrence Knighton, second time we call the second-year man out of Temple.
Yeah, he's had 3 sacks and 9 pressures this year, so clearly Knighton's a guy, and he's got the name of Pot Roast, and look at the size of him. That's why you call him Pot Roast right there, but good penetration, and you got a quarterback 6'5" swinging the football. You got to get your hands up to knock that down. Knighton did a real good job.
And you see the rookie Larry Hart in at left defensive end. This Jaguar football team drafted 4 defensive linemen in the first 4 rounds to do this right here, rush the passer.
They bring 5. They hit Collins, who outlets it to Chris Johnson. Brought down at the 43. 5 yards short of a first down. So a very eventful second drive for the Titans will end in their first punt of the evening.
And that's an area that Jacksonville has really struggled at, 3rd down and long. If you watch the Philly game earlier this year, they were beaten badly in some 3rd and long situations. That time they brought the corner and they rallied, made a key stop there against Chris Johnson in the open field.
Mike Thomas, nice job returning kicks. Brett Kern kicking for the Titans. 51 yards. From the 7, Thomas -1. It'll be a long field after tackle by the long snapper, Kanemato. Second drive for the Jaguars when we come back. Titans 7, Jags nothing. Second Jacksonville possession. Had a first down via penalty on that opening drive. Jacksonville offense under the direction of David Garrard scoring 21 points a game.
And Jordan Black, an extra tackle, is checked in here, number 78. So they've got Mercedes Lewis and Jordan Black. They're going to blast this ball off their goal line.
Kasim Osgood down to block as well for Jones-Drew running right. And carrying people for about 3 yards. We talked about this Tennessee defense, which has given up a lot of passing yards in their own right. Let's talk about the guys up front. John alluded to Jason Babbitt a moment ago, 5.5 sacks. Jason Jones emerging as a defensive tackle. Dave Ball out of UCLA on the end. The linebackers, McGrath off a suspension, second game back now. Tulloch and Will Witherspoon. 3 guys have been to the Pro Bowl, and Finnegan, Hope, and Griffin in the secondary. And Alteron Werner really opening eyes, playing some good cornerback. Garrard's pass is caught by Mike Sims-Walker for the first down just shy of the 20-yard line. A guy who had a big season last year, 63 catches, slow start to his first 5 games this year.
Nice job by Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator for the Jags. Has that 2 tight end in there. They stay in it, kind of chip that pass rush. That gives Garrard a little bit of time to get this ball out of his hands. And the matchup they're going to try to exploit is going to be Sims Walker against Werner. That's the one they like. If they can get that isolation, that's the side they'll work to.
2 backs split out. Empty backfield. And Garrard finds Mercedes Lewis. Gain of almost 9. What a performer this guy's turning into.
Well, you talk about a guy that's evolving into one of the premier tight ends in this league. Mercedes Lewis right there working a linebacker. No shot for Stephen Tulloch to cover Mercedes Lewis. He is an excellent route runner, has soft hands, and what I like about him best, John, he can block as well.
He's a real tight end. He can play in any situation.
Jones-Drew comes close to picking up the yard. Jacob Ford slinging him forward. And hear a lot of conversation and chatting in there. It's going to be like that throughout the night with these teams.
Yeah, Mercedes Lewis is a guy that David Garrard is now looking to. He's that comfortable receiver he can throw to. But here's the block against Mario Williams. And not many guys throw Mario Williams out of the way in the running game. And here, when he's number 3 on a 3-wide receiver side, he's going to get matched against a linebacker, or should I say mismatched. But he can also go down the field. A little stick nod to the outside and runs right up the seam. You see the power taking the ball into the end zone. He is a complete tight end. And Garrard just loves him. You talk to David and talk about the tight end, he just glows.
I think the Jaguars want to really pound the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are not the biggest defensive line. Their defensive tackles would be defensive ends for most teams. And their defensive ends would be linebackers for a lot of teams. I do know that Jacksonville wants to get physical against the smaller Tennessee Titans, especially running the football.
Garrard screen, Jones-Drew. Shown the sideline by the safety, Michael Griffin.
Well, that's where a lot of the yardage comes from against the Tennessee Titans. They've got an excellent pass rush, and they want to slow the pass rush down by throwing screens. Just a simple screen out the right side to Maurice Jones-Drew. David Garrard does a nice job with his eyes. Pretty good job out front blocking by the Jags, but that's another very good way to slow this Titan pass rush down. Screens, draws, change the snap count. You're going to see a lot of that tonight.
And throwing a little quarterback movement might help.
Space for Jones-Drew, first down, 43.
Well, this is the old 90 flip. You fake that dive with the fullback inside to get those ends crashing down. They saw a couple plays ago. Jacob Ford crashed. You're going to get the end crash again.
Crash when a tackle blocks down, and it's just a key breaker. And they took advantage of the Tennessee Titans right there. Dave, ball closed. That's something they picked up in their film study. And if you get outflanked by Jones-Drew, deep trouble.
Break for Jones-Drew, the rookie out of Southern Illinois, Deji Kareem in the backfield. Garrard play action, shot. Downfield, Tyquan Underwood, interference as he and Cortland Finnegan were battling. We'll go back the other way. Will it be on the second-year receiver out of Rutgers?
Pass interference. Offense number 19. 10-yard penalty is still first down.
Wow. They told us Tyquan Underwood can run. This is their 7th-round pick out of Rutgers. Let him play. Cortland Finnegan was targeted last week by the Cowboys, had a poor game, and they clearly set that play up from the beginning to get the bigger Tyquan Underwood against the smaller size Cortland Finnegan. I don't see it, Jaws.
I don't either. Let him play. I agree with you on that one there, Coach.
Deja Kareem shotgun run. It's about 2 yards. Kareem injured his thumb in the preseason, was inactive for the first 4 games of the regular season. Remember, of course, this team had Fred Taylor for years, and Maurice Jones-Drew, his first 3 years, was the complement and then the co-back with Fred Taylor. And then when Fred moved on, going to New England, this franchise moved beyond Fred Taylor's days here. It was Jones-Drew as the main back. Now they need to find a guy to spell him. It's Kareem and Rashad Jennings, a second-year player out of Liberty, who do that. MJD back in for second and 18. Twisting 4-man rush. Garrard delivers to Mike Thomas. Short gain, just under 5. Stephen Tulloch tackle.
You know, when you watch these Tennessee Titan defensive linemen in passing situations, watch the stunts. You're going to see the defensive line do a lot of this, a lot of crosses with their linemen throughout the game. I talked to Jason Jones last night. What do you say, Jaws? They have 10 or 12 different stunts in the game plan, and they can automatic to any stunt they want based on the backfield set.
It's nice that you leave it up your defensive lineman to make those calls at the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 12. Garrard, flush, careful. Jones-Drew caught it, pinballed off Burner, but he's going to be shy of the first down at the 45-yard line.
Well, David Garrard is 6'1", about 240 pounds, and he is tough to bring down. He can extend the plays he did there. A little dangerous, but the guy's making an effort. You'll see the pressure. Comes up the middle. He steps up, gets outside the pocket. Well, that's an unorthodox throw to Maurice Jones-Drew. It was dangerous, but he got it to him, but not enough for the first down.
Don't get to make many throws like that. Podlish back to punt, but the quarter will come to an end. Vince Young sprained knee is the diagnosis. His return questionable after 1 here in Jacksonville. Tennessee 7 and the Jaguars nothing. Quarter number 2 here in Jacksonville. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Michelle Tafoya. 7-0 Tennessee. They scored on the opening drive, a touchdown pass to Kenny Britt. The other headline so far, the sprained knee of Vince Young, his return questionable. Michelle Tafoya telling us during the timeout that Mike Heimerdinger, the offensive coordinator, been spending his time talking to Kerry Collins. Vince isn't up and throwing, so it looks like we'll see Collins on this trip. Offside. I thought about a punt block by Michael Griffin, but it was not 4th and 5. It was 4th and 8. So it won't give him a first down as Mariani's pulled down at the 21-yard line.
Well, these penalties have really hurt the Titans. And that's not a good one right there by Michael Griffin.
Offside. Defense number 33. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
It'll be 4th and 3 instead of 4th and 8. And they'll re-kick. Next Monday night, we will go to Dallas to see Eli Manning, who's playing well. And what is going on with the Cowboys? 1-4. Gonna be a little pressure next week. See you from North Texas, the site of the Super Bowl at 8:30 Eastern Time. Dallas is 1-4. Only one team has made the playoffs after opening 1-5. It's 1970 Cincinnati Bengals.
That means it's been done before.
Yes, it does.
There's a lot of football left. I think everybody in the NFC has 2 losses or more.
You guys ganging up on me? I'm just reporting the facts here.
Don't say guys.
I didn't,
John.
I didn't say they were in that much trouble.
Sounded gloomy.
4th and 3. They'll punt again with Podlish. Mariani, fair catch at the 17-yard line. All right, Mr. Gruden, you got Vince Young. You know his skill set. Now you have Kerry Collins, a veteran. How you turn over to him. Mike Heimerdinger, get in the mind of the play caller. How do you approach it?
Well, the good thing for Mike is he's done this before. He's called a lot of games with Kerry Collins. I think the challenge is the Titan players. It's a different game when you're a receiver or a tight end running a route for Vince Young. The timing's different, and the snap count's going to sound a little bit different. But Mike Heimerdinger's been here before, and I'm confident he can do a good job. He and Kerry Collins know each other well.
Chris Johnson gets affected by this because you don't have to worry about the bootleg, the backside as much, or at all with Kerry Collins in there.
From the 18, play action and pressure. Collins throws over Craig Stevens and incomplete. Collins came in and mopped up. Vince Young had no idea how to handle Pittsburgh's defense. He's not alone, but he couldn't do it. So Kerry Collins had to come in late third and on into the fourth quarter, so he has played a bit this year. Jaws, when you are 37 years old like Kerry Collins and you've done this a long time, do you snap right back into game mode?
Yeah, I think Kerry Collins does. He has a lot of playing experience. I remember out of training camp, we were here in the preseason. You know, he's in shape. He was stroking it well. He's big. He's strong. Now, there may be just a little rust, but Kerry Collins is a pro.
Chris Johnson, loss of a couple of yards, and again, Terrence Knighton is in there.
Well, this play really has no chance. I mean, they're going to walk both linebackers up into the A gaps. These are linebackers. Here's a safety. That's a loaded box if there ever was one. There's unblocked people in the hole. Chris Johnson has no chance to even get started. The Tennessee Titans have got to loosen this Jaguar defense up and have success throwing the ball to open this running game.
And they better block pot roast Terrence Knighton. He's making every play inside.
Just get it to Javon Ringer with a flag down. Ringer, the backup running back, is shy of the 25-yard line. Aaron Campman, William Middleton, the tackle. Looks like it's on the Titans.
Illegal motion, offense, 2 men moving before setting for a second before the snap. The penalty is declined, 4th down.
Well, the Jaguars are loading up the box. You know, when you play against Chris Johnson, you better get defenders. You see 8 right here. There's nowhere to run. Good gap discipline. Now look at this one. You got 2 tight ends, 2 backs. They bring 9 in the box with only 1 wide receiver on the field. Once again, you're seeing the Jacksonville defense play with the discipline you have to play with against the Chris Johnson. You must defend them sideline to sideline.
And the result is 6 carries, 9 yards so far tonight. Kearns kick, 47 yards. Mike Thomas's return, 0. Tackled by Gerald McGrath. Jacksonville's defense answering the call with stopping CJ so far.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Toyota and ESPNShop.com. Get all of your official NFL sideline gear at ESPNShop.com.
Beautiful night here in North Florida. You look along the St. Johns River as Everbank Field lights up the night sky. Here on the edge of downtown Jax, 7-0 Tennessee. You see Vince Young, who, if you're just joining us, sprained his left knee. Kerry Collins is quarterback the last couple of series. Jacksonville's offense needs to find something to click, taking over at their own 28. Pressure, Garrard hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Penalty marker down. Dave Ball hit Garrard at the end.
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
E.G. Moreau, the left tackle.
Well, the Titans get great penetration. They hit David Garrard a lot whenever these 2 teams play, but watch the penetration from 91, Jason Jones. Nice spin move in there by Babin, and a good hit flush by Dave Ball. These Tennessee Titan defenders, they go as long as they can, as hard as they can, and then defensive line coach Jim Washburn substitute freely. They keep fresh bodies after the quarterback.
They have missed a hands to the face there as Ball finished off that play on Garrard. Flag makes a 1st and 20. Garrard down the seam, incomplete for Mike Thomas. Michael Griffin covering, John.
Well, they told us we want to stop Maurice Jones-Drew and make Garrard throw it. And when he does, let's go get him. They have hit David Garrard and hit him hard, especially last season. I had to turn a channel after watching some of these hits. But if the Tennessee Titans can get the Jaguars behind in the down and distance, that guy Jim Washburn, he'll link it up. He'll turn his guys loose against David Garrard, and that's not good for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, that previous play, Garrard had Thomas open, just missed him. When you get those opportunities, you got to complete them. You said, John, they're going to be coming after now, 2nd and long.
A little confusion here with which side of the ball the backs were supposed to be on. And a delay flag.
Delay. Offense. 5 yards. Second down.
SportsCenter right now, Trey Wingo.
All right, Michael, big hits the story of Week 6. Both Eagles wideout Deshaun Jackson and Falcons corner Dante Robinson could miss next week's games after that brutal collision. Andy Reid said Deshaun, it would be a real stretch for him to play against the Titans. Meanwhile, the NFL said they could start suspending players for dangerous helmet-to-helmet hits. And Chris Morrison's going to have more on this perhaps change in policy coming up at halftime, guys.
Okay, Trey, thanks. Yeah, it was... It almost got scary at some point to watch yesterday. It seemed like every time you turn, we have all the games up at once. Every time you turn, somebody else is taking a shot like that. 2nd and a quarter of the field. Mercedes Lewis, the 22-yard line. The gain of 9. What do you guys think about that conversation at the league level?
Well, there's no question something has to be done. This is a violent game. We all understand that. But some of those yesterday, they were pretty flagrant. I don't want to get into calling guys out, but when you start leaping at guys helmet to helmet, the commissioner's got to step in and do something about it. You know, it's a tough business as it is, and I'm glad so far the league has been moving in that direction. Hey, let's correct this problem.
It's 3rd and 16. And it's Garrard. Terrible throw. Intercepted. And Griffin can still run. Michael Griffin to the 36-yard line.
Well, a quarterback and receiver have to see the field through the same eyes. That did not happen as Underwood was going right down the seam. You'll see right there you have your free safety, Michael Griffin. He's just looking back in the backfield. Now, the receiver has got to go inside with that safety outside. Underwood kept to the outside. Garrard through the inside. What do you get? An interception.
That was an ugly pattern by Underwood, but this guy, Michael Griffin, he was a star 2 years ago. Had a subpar season a year ago. That's his 3rd interception already this season. He looks like he's back on the way to the Pro Bowl.
3 games in a row. He had 7 picks in that Pro Bowl season of 2008. Chris Johnson tries to get going, tries to get to the outside at the 32-yard line. The Johnson guys had the 2006 rushing yards last year, set the NFL record, 2,509 yards in scrimmage, and he set a real high bar for himself. So I can run for 25,000 this year.
2,500.
25,000.
25,000.
That's a real high bar,
It's a high bar. I told you it was a high bar.
Yeah, people laugh about that, but Chris Johnson had 2,509 yards of total offense last year. He needs to bust a couple, and that talk will get serious.
The throw's complete to the tight end, Skate for the first down at the 21-yard line. Back to the Wright Johnson numbers. Interesting. Adrian Peterson and Johnson always talked about best backs in the league. This is game 37 for Johnson. So if you look at the first 36 games for both, same snapshot, amazing, almost the same number of carries, the exact same number of rushing yards, and Johnson with almost twice as many receptions, and Peterson with twice as many fumbles.
I'd buy a ticket to watch either of those guys.
Johnson left, squirts through the first tackle, and keeps going to the 14. It's a gain of 7.
Well, it's never seen before speed at this position, and it's rare running instincts. Chris Johnson can run through the 3-hole, the 5-hole, the 7-hole, and he can break tackles, and he's durable. But this is an outstanding traffic run by Chris Johnson, just keeping the motor churning, spinning, fighting for yardage, and second up a 2nd and 3.
What you almost never see against Chris Johnson are solid hits. They're always glancing blows. He has a unique ability to contort his body so he doesn't get hit.
Gerald Alexander went for the ball, and Johnson got 2 more yards. Here he comes again to the left. Ran into a mono as offensive lineman as he's brought down by Darrell Smith and Kirk Morrison.
Chris Johnson on the carry. Tackle label number 91, Derek Harvey.
A lot of people have criticized the Titan offense not making enough yards. They don't even get 300 yards a game, this Tennessee Titan offense. But they're a top 5 scoring offense because when they get into the red zone, they get into the money zone. They score touchdowns. Big 3rd down for this Jacksonville defense. They don't want to fall behind 2 scores with this Titan pass rush.
3rd and 2. That pressure look up the middle with the linebackers again. Right in Kerry Collins' face. He buys time. Gets it complete to Bo Scaife. 1st and goal at the 1.
Speaking of Chris Johnson, watch this blitz pickup. All you young backs at home, take a look at Chris Johnson dig out this A-gap blitz. This is a 195-pound man stuffing an A-gap blitz, allowing Kerry Collins to step up. That's a nice pickup by Chris Johnson, and good job by Collins in the pocket.
That was a spectacular pickup. And Kerry Collins felt that pressure. That's that mobility you love to see out of a quarterback.
1st and goal from the 1. Johnson, loss of a yard. Jacksonville's defense tries to stand up on the goal line here. Kirk Morrison and Knighton were over there.
You know, a lot of people have asked us, why is Maurice Jones-Drew, why is Chris Johnson's average down? Their average is down because they're running the ball in these goal line situations. It's uncommon to see a feature back like Chris Johnson handling the ball in these goal line situations. He's really good at it.
Well, they had Lendell White doing that for the first couple of years of Johnson's time here. Now they spread it out here for 2nd and goal. The 1-back look for Johnson. And Collins throws incomplete. He wanted Craig Stevens down there in the end zone. The 2 tight ends on that side. We'll get you to 3rd and goal.
Well, Stevens is normally the blocking tight end when they get in these situations at 6'3", 268 pounds. But Kerry tried to just stroke one in there. A lot of steam out of tough catch for the guy, 268 pounds.
Three receivers, 1 tight end. Collins fires to Bo Scaife for the touchdown. 4 catches for Bo Scaife in the game, 2 on that drive, and Jack Del Rio's team goes down 2 touchdowns.
That's just too easy. I mean, Bo Scaife comes across the formation in motion. Damian Williams runs a little interference. Nice throw by Collins. That's what you do when you collect a turnover. You score. And that's what the Titans have done all season in the red zone. They've scored touchdowns. Now they can afford to heat up David Garrard with this 2-touchdown lead.
Baronis adds the extra point. 2nd touchdown of the year. 10th of the career of Vince Young's former Texas teammate, Bo Scaife. Kerry Collins leads him to a 2-score lead. Each quarterback is throwing a touchdown pass. Vince Young, the first drive, he gets hurt. Kerry Collins steps in, and Bo Scaife hauls it in from 2 yards out. All the Griffin interception, giving the good field position to Tennessee.
A lot of Texas Longhorns. Didn't Bo Scaife and Griffin and
Ahmad Hall?
Vince Young, Ahmad,
Yep.
I mean,
Got 4. All 4 of them part of that whole sequence there, the drive. They were all there at the same time.
important now that the Jaguars answer a score. They need to get something done offensively here.
They got to get this crowd back into the game. They got to get their offense humming. Right now, they're flat.
Baronis kicking. Daisy Kareem about halfway in the end zone. Didn't even get it back to the 13-yard line. Where will Jacksonville find the answers? About halfway through the second quarter. Team only has 66 yards of offense. They've got a 14-point hold. Thursday Night Football got a pretty good game for you here out of the Pac-10. UCLA takes on number 2 Oregon, number 2 in the BCS standings, which were released last night. They're number 1 in the AP poll and the coaches poll. It's 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, Thursday night. Maurice Jones-Drew, former UCLA Bruin. Loss of a yard in the front 4 for Tennessee, continuing to be the impact unit.
Yeah, but look who's out there. They've substituted. There's Javon Hay, number 75. I see William Hayes out there, number 95. They keep them fresh. They demand all-out effort. They play like every snap is their last. You give until you have no more. but they're substituting early, and these guys are fresh.
From the 12, Garrard versus the Mike Sims Walker. And he's just shy of the 20-yard line.
You know, a lot of what Jacksonville does on offense with these one-back runs is they build a quick screen in the other way. And if they get a number count that's not good to run the ball, Garrard will just pull it and throw this quick screen out here if there's 7 in the box. And that's a good decision by Garrard. They have a built-in quick screen with their running plays, and a lot of balls that Garrard throws are these built-in quick one-step throws that give the Titans fits.
Haven't picked up a third down tonight. Garrard hit as he throws, and Lewis didn't catch it. 4th down, Garrard took a shot as Winborn came in with the pressure. Jamie Winborn, who was just re-signed.
That's Witherspoon.
It was Witherspoon, 92.
Witherspoon on the play, and he comes in clean off the left side here. And Garrard really doesn't have much of a chance. He's just trying to get rid of this ball to save his life. Had to flick it out there to Mercedes Lewis. Incomplete, but what pressure from Witherspoon. Unblocked.
There's another free agent that the Titans brought in and have got great production from. Will Witherspoon.
Played with St. Louis and Philly last year. Not a good kick from Podlish. Mariani took it on the run. A 36-yard punt is a net of only 26. And the Jaguars have a major issue here. Will Witherspoon's hit on Garrard. And Lewis couldn't hang on the other end either. Chris Johnson over on the exercise bike there as Javon Ringer is the back to start this series. Kerry Collins leading Tennessee after Vince Young injured his knee. Touchdown drive a moment ago, and the former Michigan State Spartan Ringer finally brought down after a gain of 6. Here's the last touchdown.
Yeah, you'll see right here, Bo Scaife comes in motion, and you have to have better spacing as the defense. When he's in motion right here, you'll see, now here's the change. You got to come over the top. You can't allow the pick to happen by Kenny Britt. Once you're in this position, you'll see Williams gets the rub, but you have to have the spacing to get over the top. And you see a nice throw to the outside by Kerry Collins to Scaife.
Collins gives to Ringer again, left side. And a first down for Javon Ringer with Chris Johnson not having Wendell White, who's going to be the complimentary back. The question to start the season. And Ringer's a guy taken in the 5th round out of Michigan State a couple of years ago. Only Lorenzo White had more yards in his Michigan State career. This is a guy who had a good camp and has answered the question of after Chris Johnson, then who?
Yeah, it's a tough job because you're not always loose. You don't know when you're going to get your turns. But this young man has delivered some quality carries.
His 4th carry. Couldn't get it to the outside. Courtney Green, the strong safety, came in. And a loss of a couple of yards. This is an essential stop here for Jacksonville. This is not an offense that's a high-scoring offense. Not an offense that threatens you with their receivers, so they really cannot afford to fall behind 17, 21 points.
Well, they need to make a play, not only a stop, but even force a turnover. They got to flip the field position.
From the 35, Collins throws on time and complete to Damian Williams. A couple of yards shy of the first down for the third round pick out of USC this year.
I'm impressed with Kerry Collins. That time the Jaguars come with all-out pressure. And Kerry Collins is going to stand right in the middle of the pocket, throw the ball on time and accurate. He's seen it all, Kerry Collins. The blitzes don't bother him. He's got tremendous poise. That's a big completion. It puts the Titans in 4-down territory, field goal territory, and 3rd and 3 is a fun down for this offense.
Collins has time. Throw over the hands of Nate Washington. A flag is down. That pass was deflected, I believe, at the line of scrimmage by Mincy. So if the pass is deflected and pass interference is called, let's see how that is arbitered here.
Defense number 27. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Yeah, the holding call changes that, perhaps.
Well, he's going to get Nate Washington's jersey, I do believe. Let's take a look at it. Here's Washington. He came in short motion, and Mathis hooked him. And that's an easy call, a clean call, and automatic first down. Costly penalty on both sides of the ball tonight by this Jacksonville football team.
So the tip becomes irrelevant because of the call, the hold there as the flag was thrown. So it is a first down as this Tennessee team gets back to the edge of the red zone. And Ringer, this series, needs a couple to the 18-yard line.
And this offensive line of the Tennessee Titans, they're coached by the Hall of Famer Mike Munchak. They can run the ball. One back sets, two back sets. These guys can pass protect. Jake Scott, David Stewart. Look at Michael Roos, the left tackle. That is one outstanding line coach. He was a heck of a player himself.
Hall of Famer.
Collins deep drops, 2nd and 8. Ringer catches it, turns it upfield for the first down. Inside the 10-yard line as Darrell Smith made the tackle.
Well, Aaron Campman's come in here to try to rejuvenate this Jaguar pass rush. He has been a no factor so far. Let's see what's going on. Here you see Michael Roos one-on-one here on the left side. Pretty good job. This Michael Roos, he's been able to handle a lot of the top rushers in this NFC South. Campman's here, Dwight Freeney the next week. He's got a tough job, and he handles his own in there well.
He had DeMarcus Ware last week and did a heck of a job.
This guy's doing a job on this drive. Ringer gains a yard to the 9-yard line. You mentioned those guys. Mario Williams also in this division. You've been having some good tackles in the AFC South.
Take a look at Campman. He's getting reach block at the point of attack. Allows Ringer to jump back inside. Here's, Aaron Campman has 3 sacks. He's coming off a serious injury that ended his career in Green Bay. They need Aaron Campman to make a play here. A splash play, create a sack or a turnover. Something big on this Jag defense.
2nd and goal. Collins throws deflected at the goal line by Gerald Alexander. As Derek Harvey was heard from getting to Kerry Collins.
Alexander did an outstanding job as Kerry Collins pumped the first window, waited for the second window to open up, and Alexander did an outstanding job of getting over there, or it would have been a touchdown into Kenny Britt. And you'll see Kerry in the pocket. There's the pump. First window's not there. Bought a little time and delivered. Well, but Alexander did a really nice job of reading Kerry Collins' eyes.
Huge play here, 3rd and goal. Collins back in the end zone, incomplete. We've seen that action a couple of times with Scaife crossing in front in the middle of the end zone, Britt in the back of the end zone. Vince Young hit it for touchdowns against the Giants in Dallas.
Well, they like to get Kenny Britt, their 2nd-year player, at that back line of the end zone and throw it up high and let him go get it. Good decision here by Collins, throwing it out of bounds. But they love getting this big guy on the end line. And in these tight red zone passing situations, they like to put it up high and see if he can make a play. Good decision by Collins.
One-time Pro Bowler Baronis from 27. Nice job on the hold by Brett Kern. The snap was over by his ear. Got it down well. 17-0 Tennessee. This man's the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, Chuck Cecil. You may remember his 7 seasons in the NFL. When Sports Illustrated asked, is he too vicious for the NFL?
This
John?
is my guy, Mike. I coached at Green Bay when he was there. He would knock you out, Jaws. I mean, he loved to play. I think you threw that one. But he would clean up piles. He could hit you and knock you sideways. But Chuck Cecil's a tone setter, just like he is for the Tennessee Titan defense. He's a quality guy. He loves football. And you put Marcus Robertson, who's another coach on this staff, with Chuck Cecil and Timmy Houck. They've got 3 ex-safeties coaching this defense. There's fire and brimstone in that guy's body. Chuck Cecil's doing an excellent job with this young Tennessee defense.
You also have an excellent linebacker coach in Dave McGinnis there, who's been a head coach when he was out in Arizona. They've got a quality coaching staff in Tennessee.
Yeah. Cecil took over for Jim Schwartz when Jim went to Detroit. Now, Baronis is getting set to kick off, but we're going to have a story once Jacksonville gets the ball here. May have a switch at quarterback. Baronis kicking to Deji Kareem from the 1-yard line. Kareem takes it out to the 30, and Trent Edwards, who started the season as Buffalo starter, is going to come in at quarterback. Michelle Tafoya on the sideline.
Well, yeah, I was just told that David Garrard is shaken up. They're going to take him in at halftime and evaluate him. You guys remember the hit he took by Will Witherspoon. He was slow to get off the field after that. Went and sat on the bench, really out of breath, talked to the trainers. But I was told at that point he was fine. Not so much. They're going to look at him at halftime and see if he can come back, Mike.
Yeah, Michelle, I was looking over at the bench, and he had walked back over there and sat down as the other series was going on. So here's Edwards, who started this season as the first 2-game starter for Buffalo. Only been here a few weeks. Pass is complete to Mike Thomas at the 36-yard line, and we get to the 2-minute warning. So we'll talk more about Edwards on the other side. Let's go back to the last drive as we step out for the 2. Here's the hit that Garrard took on the prior drive from Will Witherspoon. Well, we have both backup quarterbacks in the game because of injury. Vince Young hurt his left knee. Kerry Collins has come in and taken a 7-0 lead to 17-0. David Garrard hurt last series. Now, Trent Edwards, the 4th-year man out of Stanford, who's only been a Jacksonville Jaguar for 3 weeks. He got a shot in the face there as the pass was incomplete. Boy, did they unload on Edwards with Jason Babin in the pressure.
Boy, this Trent Edwards, he's got to be wondering why I came to Jacksonville. He just got hit harder than he ever did at Buffalo. Watch the left side of your screen where David Ball just comes right through the middle and plants Trent Edwards.
Yeah, actually, Jason Babin right up the middle and drills him right
yes,
there.
It is.
Wow.
I can see the tattoos.
Yeah. By the way, John, he got hit maybe harder than a Buffalo, too.
3rd and 4 for a Jacksonville team struggling to begin with. Edwards throws for the first down. It's Mike Thomas at the 47-yard line. It's a 2-minute drill with a quarterback who's only been here 3 weeks and probably, Jaws, has had very little time with the first team.
You give him a few limited plays that he can execute and let him go. You've got to line up. You've got to play. Edwards is a veteran. He should be able to handle it.
Edwards throws complete to Thomas to the sideline. Just past midfield for a first down. He started the first 2 games for Buffalo, as bad as any team in the NFL. They lost to Miami by 5 and lost to Green Bay by 27. And then the Bills, Chan Gailey there, and Buddy Nix in the front office decide to make the switch and go with a different quarterback and not only take Edwards to number 2, but then get rid of him and waive him. Jacksonville jumps in and picks him up. At that time, Garrard was struggling mightily. Ryan Fitzpatrick starting now for the Bills.
Well, I've seen Trent Edwards play some good football for the Bills. It wasn't consistent, but he has some good football in him.
First snap in Titan territory. Protection. Edwards throws. Incomplete. The rookie Werner blanketing Mike Sims-Walker.
I think this is a situation where the Tennessee Titans want to slam the door shut. They've had some leads, and then they've given up a lot of yardage in the last few weeks, Ron. A lot of pass offense. 400 from the Cowboys last week. Well over 300 against the Giants. They want to shut the door and keep Jacksonville off the scoreboard. I do know that's the point of emphasis with this secondary here of the Titans.
You can see Garrard looking very dazed and gingerly walking up the tunnel with medical personnel to be evaluated here. 3rd and 3. 6 are coming. Edwards looking for room. Trent Edwards running. Great job by Edwards. Got the first down.
Well, it was a heck of a play by Trent Edwards because Tennessee was bringing the house. They came with a corner blitz. They came with a blitz up the middle. You'll see the pressure come from this side. You'll see pressure come up the middle. He does an excellent job of moving outside the pocket, avoiding William Hayes, knowing where that first down marker is and getting it.
Needed 3, got 4. Underwood, the receiver, has no clue what's going on. The bottom of the screen. They run with Maurice Jones-Drew. You have 3 timeouts. You can use them anytime you want. And they take one with 1:05.
Boy, that Cortland Finnegan, they ran that stretch play right into a corner blitz. And that might be the most courageous defensive back in the league.
Those of you just joining us here, it's 17-0 Tennessee. Let's show you how we've arrived at that in this battle of AFC South teams trying to join Houston and Indianapolis for the lead. Maurice Jones-Drew shut down, 7 carries, 17 yards. Same true for Chris Johnson. So priority one has happened. But then we've had injuries. Vince Young injuring his knee on this play. I want to talk about that play more in a second. David Garrard on the last series for Jacksonville was hit by Will Witherspoon, and he's been taken back up the tunnel. The word on Vince Young was a sprain to his left knee, and his return was termed as questionable. Kerry Collins has come in, added 10 points, and done quite well, as a matter of fact. And now Trent Edwards in for the Jaguars. 2nd and 14's got some time. There's Mercedes Lewis, the tight end, going to get a first down to get to the sideline at the 30.
And that's really good pass protection by this Jaguar offensive line, allowing Trent Edwards to look down the field and find his outlet receiver. But it's nice pass protection. Look at Edwards. He's got plenty of time to survey the field, get to his outlet receiver. There's your guy, Mercedes Lewis, getting out of bounds to stop the clock. This is impressive what Trent Edwards has done, coming in here cold off the bench.
Be patient. Be patient, Trent. That's what you have to do in this situation. Still a lot of time with 56 seconds to go and a half.
After a 15-yard gain, their longest of the night, Edwards again on the run. Caught shy of the 20 by Underwood. And the fans energized by Edwards adding some life to the offense.
Well, you got to be. He's getting out of trouble. He's making good decisions. He's making good throws. Take a look at it right here. He feels pressure off his left side. Has a good feel in the pocket, makes a nice firm throw, and it's accurate. I'd be surprised if Tennessee doesn't come after him. He hasn't been around here very long. If I were Jeff Fisher, I might think about dialing up some pressure.
In Edwards, you have a guy who started just more than a couple of seasons in the NFL. 34 starts under his belt in his career, including the 2 this year, and a whistle.
Call start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty is still first down.
Toyota halftime show coming up with Chris Berman, Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter. Boomer's fastest 3 minutes. Best way to recap Sunday in the NFL. Those violent hits that we discussed earlier. The story of what the NFL is looking at with that. And is there news in Miami with Bill Parcells? The tuna swimming out of Miami. More Adam on that with Boomer Toyota halftime show coming up. Now, after that first penalty was called against Jacksonville, the officials got together and decided it was a Tony Brown neutral zone infraction. So it goes +5 instead of -5 with 50 seconds left. Jags in the red zone first time tonight.
This is one of the top red zone defenses in football, the Tennessee Titans.
Rookie Deji Kareem in the backfield. Witherspoon blitzing again. Edwards throws high and incomplete, intended for Kareem.
Chuck Cecil doing a nice job disguising his coverage. These Tennessee Titan defenders have played together for a while, and that's the 3rd time tonight I've seen Will Witherspoon come off the edge unblocked.
To keep an eye on Edwards, a couple of plays ago, guys, he threw a pass. His hand hit the helmet, top of the helmet of one of his offensive linemen. We point that out because there's no 3rd quarterback for Jacksonville. They don't have a 3rd dressed tonight. They don't even have a 3rd on the roster. They just released Craig Null again yesterday. From the 16, Edwards, Lewis, first down and goal. Ball squirting free, and Tennessee has it. Ruled on the field, Titan ball. That was the first signal by an official, and Mike Carey confirms that. And in the last 2 minutes, no need to challenge. It's reviewed upstairs. We'll see if Lewis was down or not.
That's a backbreaker right there. Zone defense by the Titans. Everybody's hustling to the football. That ball's out.
He dropped it. Just flat out dropped it.
Stephen Tulloch pulling on him. Yep, that's out before any body parts down.
Lewis tried to secure it in his left hand. The ball squirted out, and it's on the ground. That is a fumble.
And a killer turnover for Jacksonville as they were driving for something with some momentum to take into the halftime locker room.
That's devastating. Now they have an interception from Garrard earlier. Now the fumble here. A couple of turnovers have killed the Jaguars.
And I'm sure Kerry Collins is going to put his knee down here and head to the locker room up 17-0.
Jack Del Rio taking a timeout here for Jacksonville. I don't know if he's taking the timeout in hopes that they will go upstairs and look at a challenge. But
well, that's what he's doing, Mike. He knows inside of 2 minutes you can't throw that red flag and challenge a play. You just got to hope. Maybe during a long timeout they'll figure it out, say, hey, maybe we should take a look at it. But it ain't going to happen.
You can just see him, lip readers, to say to Darryl Smith, balls out, as they looked at the replay up here on the screen. And just because you take the timeout inside the 2, hoping that they will go look, if they've seen it once and they know for sure they don't need to look, they won't. Yeah, this is a great look with the super slow-mo, John, that I know you love to get these looks at. And it's clear as day that ball was out.
No, these super slow-mos are unbelievable. Clearly a fumble.
Answers the question for you. Yep. So Kerry Collins will take a knee. And we'll take it to the locker room. But Jacksonville gets the ball to start the second half. It was Teal Monday. Everybody was told to wear teal downtown, come party. They showed up. Their team didn't in the first half. Vince Young was hurt. David Garrard hurt. So we'll go regroup with Kerry Collins and Trent Edwards and figure out what's ahead. 17-0 Tennessee leads at the half. The Jaguars will get the ball to start the second half. Now send it back to the studio and Chris Berman. Time for the Toyota halftime show. Boom.
Monday Night Football. A contest for respect. A test of strength and will. The Titans have shown they can rise to the occasion. Will the Jaguars rally? Or will the Titans rule? The division clash continues. The Tennessee Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football.
Winner joining Houston and Indianapolis atop the division. A little Pyrotechnics laser show at halftime. And Sportscaster 101 line, as those are the only Jacksonville fireworks in the first part of this game. It's down 17-0. They get the ball to start the third. Mike, John, Jaws, Trent Edwards at quarterback. Tell me how you approach that after halftime.
Real simple. You come in at halftime, you sit with your offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, you give him a list of about 10 plays that you really feel comfortable with, and you come out the second half and stay with those 10.
If I'm the Tennessee Titans on defense, I'm going to really tighten things up in our secondary. We've given up a lot of yards the last few weeks. This is a great opportunity for us as a defensive team to get after a young quarterback that just got here and slam the door on these guys.
Tony Romo had big passing numbers against them with Dallas a few weeks ago. Eli Manning had good numbers as a giant quarterback against this Tennessee team. So even though the record's 3-2, they've struggled, and we'll hear from Michelle Tafoya momentarily, but all looks are that it will be the continuation of Edwards for David Garrard, who was hit by Will Weatherspoon on the second to last drive of the first half. First 2 meetings between these teams, and the Titans have had the better of play of late. They've won 5 of the last 7 in the series. Second half begins with a Rob Baronis kickoff. Kareem comes up to get it. Deji from the 8 to the 28. And here's Michelle.
Yeah, Jack Del Rio, Mike told me that Trent Edwards will continue. Now, David Garrard has not been completely ruled out of this, but if they did have to go to a third quarterback, it would be tight end Zach Miller, who played some quarterback in college. But again, David Garrard not ruled out yet. Vince Young is going to stay loose on the sideline. Jeff Fisher told me his injury is not serious, and he could play out of the shotgun if necessary, but they're going to stick with Kerry Collins, and they're going to continue to take shots down the field and get Chris Johnson going, Mike.
Okay, Michelle, thank you. So Garrard not in, Edwards in, and the first play is a run to the right with Jones-Drew for a gain of about 3.5. So David Garrard in that first half with the injury Michelle was talking about. Let's go back to Garrard's start of the first half. That miscommunication, that's on Tyquan Underwood, the wide receiver. The pass is intercepted. Then the hit with Will Witherspoon, and the Jaguars just telling us that it is officially deemed a concussion, so Garrard will not return, and it's all Edwards, as Michelle told us. Miller, the backup, the emergency quarterback who played in college at Nebraska, Omaha. If anything happens to Edwards. Trent's throw is nearly intercepted right in the hands of Will Witherspoon and dropped. Numbers through 30. Both teams run it well. Ron did not in the first half. That was the emphasis coming in.
That's an understatement there. You can see 2.2 and 2.6. Not good rushing averages for the Titans and the Jaguars.
And those two Jacksonville turnovers turning into Tennessee points. And, you know, there's one point from the first half as we get to this third down that I want to come back to. And that was Jeff Fisher's decision to challenge when Vince Young was hurt. That was a play that looked like a fumble, and it was a very wise decision. Could have changed the tone of this game. Edwards' pass is intercepted. Alteron Werner out of UCLA, the rookie down the sideline, diving for the pylon, and in. Touchdown, Tennessee, 42 yards.
Well, those are back-to-back terrible decisions.
We have whistles back here, whistles back in the middle of the field at the 33-yard line.
Well, the throw was late to the outside. You never want to be late to the outside. You see the result. Werner just dissected the throw, and well, it's either going to be a touchdown or maybe he was tripped up back here around the 32.
That was the initial feeling. Everybody kind of came to a stop.
After the interception, the runner was down by contact. First down.
It's back-to-back terrible decisions. The Jaguars get a slight break right there, but watch Trent Edwards. You have to see throws, and you can't be late. That extra hitch cost him dearly right there. But here's a young guy, Alteron Werner, that Jeff Fisher told us carries himself like a fifth-year veteran. He really took advantage of all the work he got in training camp when Cortland Finnegan was hurt. This guy has natural ball skills. They love this young rookie out of UCLA.
Yeah, the ruling that Underwood's contact with him, and Werner did not reestablish himself as a runner and go down on his own. Correct call. Chris Johnson, a step away from a house call, picks up a first down at the 21-yard line. The Jags are in need of life support right now.
Well, Ron, this is not how you want to start the third quarter.
No.
You get with your young quarterback, you ask him for a couple plays, and the two passes he throws hit Tennessee Titans right in the hands. Not good.
Well, the Jags defense has to come up with a play here. This one could get out of hand quickly.
Johnson left, going to lose a yard on that one. Justin Durant and Kirk Morrison made the tackle. So back to that Vince Young injury. It was an early touchdown drive for Vince Young. Threw a touchdown pass to Kenny Britt. That was drive one. Here on drive two, Young caught in there, and that left knee, which was down while he had possession, which is the reason that it wasn't Jacksonville ball inside the 20-yard line, but the knee getting bent in a way that it shouldn't. Turned to sprain. And Michelle told you Young's status on the bench. Kerry Collins leading the Titans. And good run defense the last two plays from Jacksonville. A couple of negative plays.
Well, the Jaguars are loading up the box. They're just going to press man-to-man on the outside. That's safety in the deep middle, and they're committing everyone else to the run. If Kerry Collins and Mike Heimerdinger, the coordinator, decide to throw this thing, they're going to have nice isolation routes working on the outside, one-on-one.
Third down and 14.
Third and 13, Collins throwing complete. It is Damian Williams, who's going to be 3 yards shy of the first down. And we'll have a field goal of about 33 yards coming. Derek Cox tackle.
11 yards.
Well, Williams ran a really good route on Middleton. He had him locked up in that slot, stuck it to the inside, and broke back to the outside, and Collins delivered the strike, but Middleton did recover and make the tackle.
And this guy, Rob Baronis, he's almost automatic. In all of football, there might not be a better kicker than this guy, Rob Baronis.
Made one in 15 straight games, officially 33. He made it 16 straight with his 27-yarder earlier. Second good job with a bad snap by the holder, Brett Kern. 20-0. Jacksonville working with a backup quarterback. Trent Edwards' pick turns into a Titans field goal.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by the Miller Lite Aluminum Pint for more ounces of that great Pilsner taste. And NFLShop.com, where you can customize apparel the way you want it.
The Blue Bridge, Main Street Bridge here in Jacksonville, spanning the St. Johns River. Painted blue, lighted with blue lights every night. Been a couple of years. Good to be back here and see Jacksonville. 20-0 Titans.
For the Jaguars.
About 3.5 into this third quarter. Jaguars have turned it over 3 of their last 4 possessions.
That's not good.
See what Deji Kareem can do with this Barones kickoff. Seeking some space. Somebody threw a shoe. And Kareem took it on out to the 35-yard line. He backs up Maurice Jones-Drew, who has not been able to get going here. Only 8 attempts and 20 yards running for the Jags tonight. Tennessee 20, Jacksonville nothing. Early third quarter, so there's a ton of time, but there's a few signs of hope for Jacksonville. Trent Edwards, who's only been here 3 weeks after Buffalo cut him loose. From the 35, no Maurice Jones-Drew this series. Deji Kareem and Gerald McGrath welcomes him. Well, Jones-Drew's been getting treated like that also.
That's why Jones-Drew's out of the game. He's had no chance to get started. They've hit him high and hit him often. The Tennessee Titans are jumping into some loaded fronts. They are going to force the Jacksonville Jaguars to make some plays in the passing game, but it's been no fun for MJD tonight. He's not even in the game right now.
Too many unblocked defenders.
2nd and 11 for Edwards, whose throw is complete. Mike Thomas in Tennessee territory at the 47, first down.
Well, nice job by Trent Edwards, just hanging in the pocket. This was a deep route, and you'll see him set up, but he's got to wait and wait and wait. They actually started out with a 7-man protection so he would have some time and deliver the strike.
Nice route by Mike Thomas. He got Finnegan turned. Good separation out of the break.
Yeah, he's their leading receiver coming into this game. He's the guy they like to go to.
Longest game of the night, 21 yards. Edwards loading, trying to take a shot and get a flag. Got the flag for pass interference. Intended receiver, Mike Sims Walker.
Yeah, Finnegan cut him off. He obstructed the running lane right here. Here's just a simple go route by Mike Sims Walker.
I call the arm bar. Put the arm out.
Interference. Defense number 31. From the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
There used to be a time in this league when that was a really good play. It was coached. Not anymore. You can't touch that guy after 5 yards.
It really, Jacksonville doesn't have anything going on offensively. But you get 1 first down, you get a pass interference flag like that. You know, you get a touchdown, it's 20-7, you're back in the game. There aren't a lot of people believing in the team in teal right now, but 25-yard penalty when you can't do anything on offense helps the cause. Edwards getting it out quick for Sims Walker, ruled incomplete.
So here's Cortland Finnegan. Now, this is one mean little corner. You watch piles of bodies, there's fighting going on. Number 31, Cortland Finnegan. He's been fined, I think, 3 straight weeks. Right there for ripping Steve Smith's helmet off. Here you see him diving into the pile late. Cortland Finnegan, pound for pound, Jeff Fisher told me might be the strongest Tennessee Titan. I know this. He might be the meanest Tennessee Titan.
2nd and 10. A run with Kareem to the right to gain a couple of yards. Yeah, last week was a good week. It snapped a 3-game streak of being fined for Cortland Finnegan. Weeks 2, 3, and 4, he was fined. Last week, he was not. The game against Dallas, $20,000 is a fine total. And kind of say that tongue-in-cheek. He's a Pro Bowl player, an outstanding corner, but kind of typifies this Titans defense. Chip on their shoulder. Finnegan, not from a big school, from Sanford, plays a little bit of an edge all the time.
Feisty. He plays through the whistle, and sometimes he doesn't hear it. Plays hard.
3rd and 8. Pressure up the middle. Edwards throws to Lewis, who fumbled earlier, gets the first down at the 7-yard line.
That's good blitz pickup by the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's Cortland Finnegan blitzing off the corner, and the Jags pick it up. Take a look at Finnegan coming off the short side of the field. You see the young back in the backfield, scanning, picks it up, gives Edwards the time to hit the little under route, get a big first down. Cortland Finnegan, that's good pickup.
Kareem in good position. He goes low and just cuts him.
Yeah, and now Maurice Jones-Drew comes back in here inside of the 10-yard line. 8.5 to go. Jacksonville trying to get on the board. Bunch to the left. Jones-Drew up the middle. Gets to about the 3. Now, you know Maurice Jones-Drew cannot be the every down back, and they're trying to get Rashad Jennings and Kareem in the game just to give him a chance to not take every carry this year. But at 20-0 early 3rd quarter, it's kind of bizarre second series of the half that he wasn't on the field. I wasn't sure if it was injury or not.
Very strange. You know, they went to Kareem. He wasn't there. Now they're down there knocking at the doorstep. He's in there.
Oh, you get a score here. The Titans are playing with their backup quarterback. We got a whole new ball game. Lean on Jones-Drew.
And that bunch goes to the right now. And Edwards just gets rid of it incomplete. That looked really ugly. And everybody's looking for a flag.
I think the ball was snapped early.
And there are none.
Right. The ball was just snapped early. It was that simple. Brad Meester was not on the same page as everyone else. He snapped it early, and Edwards just had to throw the ball away.
I mentioned Meester setting a franchise record in the decade and a half of this franchise. 151st start. Only Jimmy Smith had more until tonight. 3rd and goal. Edwards pressured. Edwards sacked. Jacob Ford for the 2nd time this year.
Boy, this Jacob Ford, you forget about him. He's out of Central Arkansas. This guy can rush the passer also. He's off to the races. Bull rushes Monroe. That's an easy sack. He gets help from the backside. That's a horrific sequence of plays by the Jaguars where they're inside the 5-yard line. No choice but to kick a field goal here.
You get a premature snap on 2nd down and then meet me at the quarterback on 3rd and end up with a 33-yard field goal attempt.
For Mr. Automatic this year, Josh Scobie, who worked very hard on his consistency this offseason. He's made all 11 of his field goals this year. But they were in position with a chance to get back in this game. The big sack forced the field goal. Jim Washburn's the defensive line coach of Tennessee. Been here since the year they went to the Super Bowl in '99. Congratulating Ford and Babin and Jones, the rest of his hard-working guys. And he's doing it through pain as well. Had his leg broken as he was watching his guys the game a couple of weeks ago. On crutches, fighting through. 20-3, and Scobie kicks to Mark Mariani. Mariani with some space. Brought down 26-yard line. Don Carey was over there on the tackle. How about Chris Johnson? A lot of fantasy owners want to see if he can get going. Check that out when you come back.
Previously on Monday Night Football, a statement made with a stop. A storybook finish. Gravity defied. Stars shined. A legend fell short. And now this epic battle belongs under the spotlight of Monday night. Giants-Cowboys from the Palace in Dallas.
Palace in Dallas. I like that. She will be in North Texas next Monday night for the Titans.
Chills, man.
John's been working on his voice. That was good.
The Palace in Dallas.
Not a very good setting for the King and the Court and the rest of the folks in Dallas. 1-4, Cowboys struggling. See you next Monday night for that battle for the NFC East. Here in the AFC South, credit the Jaguar fans trying anything to get their folks going. Chris Johnson continuing to struggle here tonight, right around 30 yards.
Well, again, these are 8-man fronts. I haven't seen a split safety look all night from either team. But a lot of these runs have no chance, much like Maurice Jones-Drew. Both defenses content to take these runners out of the game and make the backup quarterbacks make plays in the passing game.
And a long way to go to get to the century mark for Johnson. But he's got the ability to do it on one play. Offside flag is down. Kerry Collins throws to Chris Johnson. Good hit at the 33-yard line is Justin Durant, who was inactive the last 3 games with an ankle injury. Knocked down Johnson.
Offside defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty is still second down.
That's a big mistake by the rookie out of California. But Justin Durant, you see his playing speed and explosion. That time he rattled Chris Johnson good, Jaws.
He has speed, he can run, and he can hit. Jags are glad to have him back active.
6 flags, 50 yards. Jacksonville tonight. Johnson left. Campman strung out the play. Durant gets credit for the tackle, but a good job by Aaron Campman.
Boy, the Jacksonville defense really has played outstanding against the run, in particular Chris Johnson. To contain Johnson, you have to play with that gap discipline. Don't try to be a hero. Maintain your gaps. Here he comes, his stretchy. You see Campman handling Scaife, force him to the outside and gets a hand on him. Boy, what a terrific play by Aaron Campman.
With the ball on the 32-yard line.
Twice to the Pro Bowl, tore his ACL in November.
I love that super slow-mo. Wow.
Pressure up the middle with Campman. Collins throws complete to Damian Williams. This is becoming an interesting part of this Tennessee offense, the emergence of the rookie receiver Williams.
Well, it's major league pickup by the Titan offensive line. Here comes the blitz right up the middle. Once again, you see the offensive line doing a nice job. Chris Johnson makes a key block on the stunt pickup, and Kerry Collins knew exactly where to go with the ball against man-to-man coverage. And there's that rookie offensive coordinator Mike Heimerdinger's been talking about, Damian Williams out of Southern Cal.
With 40, Collins. Johnson out of the backfield gets about 8.5 yards. We don't see Johnson a lot in a receiving role, like let's say a LaDainian Tomlinson run, a guy who the Jets will flex out as a wide receiver, run those kind of routes.
Yeah, and you would think you would, because he has that kind of Brian Westbrook type, ability when he gets the ball in space. But some guys just don't have the eye-hand coordination to catch the ball. And Chris Johnson's one of those guys that has trouble locating the football and adjusting his body to it. But boy, when he does catch that little check down, you do get excited.
Ball start. Offense number 64. 5-yard penalty is still second down.
12 accepted penalties tonight, 6 each way.
That's Leroy Harris. He missed the game last week against the Cowboy. Has had some ankle problems. I know the Titans are excited to have him back. They've been beat up on this offensive line. They've had great continuity over the years. They've lost Kevin Mawai. Harris is coming in there playing now. And Amato is center. They're glad to have him back. He got hurt late last week also.
Yeah, Kevin Mawai was the center here for so long. Johnson stretching it to the left. A couple of yards shy of the first inning. Kevin Mawai, a guy who started 238 games, was not brought back by the Titans this season. He had the 4th most starts for an offensive lineman in NFL history. So obviously concerned about how the change goes there. And Eugene Amato is the man who's been moved into that center spot.
Well, the Titans lost a lot of high-profile veterans. Keith Bullock, Kyle Vanden Bosch, you mentioned Mawai, Nick Harper, a very good corner. And the beat goes on in Tennessee. Jeff Fisher and his staff do a very good job developing players.
Again, 3rd and 3. Collins continuing to hit those shots on 3rd down. Nate Washington, who leads this team in catches coming into this week.
Boy, I love a sharp slant route executed against bump and run. Take a look at it. You're going to see Nate Washington on the left side of your screen. Just a 3-step drop, and Collins does a nice job creating a throwing lane. Ball's thrown perfectly, but a nice job by Nate Washington snatching it away from his body and protecting the catch for a big first down.
Terry's picked up 3 first downs with 3rd down throws. And usable tackles Chris Johnson there.
Well, that's what this Tennessee Titan offense does to you, Mike. It's time of possession. They run the ball. High percentage passes. And the clock continues to tick. We're inside of 2 minutes. This has been an impressive drive to take any momentum out of this crowd.
Yeah, that 3rd down conversion tonight, 7 of 11, John. They are sustaining offense and milking that clock.
5.5 minutes into this drive. Collins back foot, lobbing for Bo Scaife. It's incomplete. We had a flag down there at the line of scrimmage, giving Kerry the chance.
Offside. Defense number 69. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
7 on the Jags now.
Wow. Well, they come with all-out pressure. The veteran quarterback doing a nice job changing the snap count. It's been that kind of night for Jacksonville.
Jack Del Rio with the hands on the steering wheel here, calling the defenses for the Jaguars this year. Continuing to see more head coaches calling the side of the ball, their area of expertise. There goes Johnson, staying on his feet. Getting close to taking one all the way home.
And you watch Chris Johnson, and you see the speed, you see the quickness, the lateral agility, and you just get a feeling whenever he touches the ball, it's going to go to the end zone. You can see it right here, but fortunately for the Jags, they rally to make the tackle as Chris Johnson looks for that home run when he gets in space.
Well, Leroy Harris, the left guard, just took a couple Jacksonville Jaguars for a ride right there. Impressive second-level blocking by the Titan O-line.
Javon Ringer now the back. The 23-yard line. Guys, as we watch this go on, you kind of think back through the pages of Kerry Collins' career. There have been so many turns to it, including the most recent one where he led this Tennessee team to the playoffs as a top seed, a 12-win season after Vince Young was hurt week 1, 2008. And then Young comes last year after the 0-6. Matter of fact, they lost that horrific loss at New England in the October snowstorm a year ago today. And it was the last time Kerry Collins started for this team. Vince took over, and they finished 8-2.
You know, Mike, when we were in Nashville for the preseason, Jeff Fisher made a big deal about Kerry Collins.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know he has a big salary. There were rumors whether or not they were going to be able to pay him that salary. Jeff Fisher says, no way. We're not losing this guy. We're going to need him. It's a long season, and it's paid off for him. Tonight,
right here. You know, these wins count as much as if your starter finishes them. 20-3 through 3. Tennessee leads by 17. If they can make it through this fourth quarter, they will move to 4-2 and join Houston and Indianapolis. The Texans won yesterday, the Colts last night. And in 2 weeks, the Texans and Colts, who are kicking back and getting some rest this week, will hook up on Monday Night Football, return match of the opening game of the season. We saw Houston beat Indy in Texas. We'll be in Indianapolis in a couple of weeks. Chris Johnson runs left right near that first down mark inside the 20.
Chris Johnson on the carry.
Well, I'll tell you, these Jaguar safeties are a linebacker depth.
They're like 9 in the box. The only guys on the outside are one-on-one. There's 9 committed to the run. I'm surprised Kerry doesn't stand up and throw a quick slant, a hitch, do something.
It's going to be short. So bring Barones back out.
But a very time-consuming drive. And this guy's as good as automatic.
He's made 2 This is from 36. 23-3. Pro Bowler knocks it through. Chris Johnson takes a shot in the head here as he's tackled. Back here in Jacksonville, our aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Autotrader.com. John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Michelle Tafoya on the sideline, Mike Tirico. It's been a very busy night. Both quarterbacks, starters, knocked out because of injury. Vince Young sprained left knee. David Garrard, concussion. Gary Collins, Trent Edwards at the helm here. They take Kareem. To the 23-yard line, taken down there. Oh, Jeff Fisher continuing his successful run with this franchise. When you talk about all four major sports, hockey, baseball, basketball, and football, the pro level, only one man has been in his job, tenured longer. Jerry Sloan, who starts his 23rd season next week with the Utah Jazz. Never won an NBA title, postseason regular, played a hard-nosed style as a player. Very similar to Jeff Fisher. No titles won, longevity in one place, hard-nosed player. His teams play tough, aggressive. Jerry Sloan's Utah teams are always the most penalized in the fouls called in the NFL. As the offside will negate this sack here by William Hayes.
Offside, defense number 78. 5-yard penalty is still first down.
Fisher's team gets a bunch of penalties. They play with a hard nose. They play with an edge. Jeff has an edge about him. They're very similar, those two guys who are now the two longest tenured in North American professional sports.
You know, as a player, I played against Jeff Fisher, and he actually came to Philadelphia as an assistant coach in 1986 when I was playing. And you could just sense he was going to be an outstanding coach. His personality was such. He was a great teacher, and as you just said, Mike, he was a tough guy.
Maurice Jones-Drew seeking space and getting a first down out to the 34-yard line. John, a contemporary of yours in the coaching biz.
Well, you know what you're getting with Jeff Fisher. He's well thought of in the league. He's a key member of the competition committee. Very influential in this business. I know a lot of players that have played for him. I know a lot of coaches that have coached for him. He's the same way every year. High standards, a lot of effort, and good stuff right there in Jeff Fisher. I hope he's there for 17 more years.
Jones-Drew with another carry, another first down for Maurice. It's been a night of a struggle. Andy Reid is second, 12 years in Philadelphia, second to Jeff Fisher, who took over for Jack Pardee back in '94, 6 games into the '94 season. And 107 other men have had NFL head coaching jobs between now and then. Fisher's longevity with this franchise. Mike Thomas, the catch. Across midfield as the Jaguars go no huddle. So staying in one place a long time in the NFL doesn't happen very often, especially in today's NFL. And Fisher's the one who's added his name to a list of a lot of legends and veterans from an earlier time when you only had one head coaching job. If you won a little bit, or won a lot, you stayed there forever. Edwards. And a completion to Thomas, 29-yard line, first down.
What you see about Trent Edwards, if you give him time, if you give him functional space in the pocket, he can throw the football with zip and with accuracy. Here, he can step up and he delivers on the money. You know, a lot of quarterbacks in this league like that. Give them a little time, they can throw it. But Garrard and Edwards, they've been playing off that back foot so far most of this evening.
Out to Jones-Drew. Delivers a stiff arm to Finnegan. First gain of a yard.
The thing with Maurice Jones-Drew, when he bounces it outside, when you funnel it to an unblocked corner, it's a hard tackle for a guy like Cortland Finnegan because Drew won't go down. He will not go out of bounds on his own. But Jeff Fisher told us we're going to have to ride this guy and herd him out of bounds. He's a hard guy to tackle on the boundary.
That's what Finnegan did there. Kareem out of the backfield, gains a couple of yards.
But the tackling of this Tennessee Titan team. Stephen Tulloch right there. Check the ball down. Open field tackling ability. Nobody wants to talk about Stephen Tulloch. They don't want to talk about Gerald McGrath or this guy Finnegan. Jaws, the Tennessee Titans can play defense. They give up some yards in these situations when they have a lead, but they are a young, athletic football team that will strike you.
And they're getting better every week. And you mentioned Stephen Tulloch. You know, he is their #1 tackler, and he can tackle guys in space, and that's what your middle linebacker has to be able to do.
Kareem, another good blitz pickup. Edwards runs for the first down and saw Finnegan coming. Oh, interesting there. Where he had the ball pointed and where the ball is marked out of bounds there, it's shy of the first down. Thought he may have broken that first down line as he had the ball extended out. You've got to go for it here on 4th and short. You need 20 points.
But you do see the mobility that Trent Edwards brings to the party. He does have escapability. Greg Jones, the lead back. Don't be surprised if it's Maurice Jones-Drew.
Keeper by Edwards gets the first down at the 18. It really had to be such a shock to the system for Trent Edwards. In 8 days, he went from starting quarterback to released in Buffalo. And then Jacksonville picks him up. You come down here, and you're behind Garrard, a guy who's been paid a lot of money. He's one of the faces of the franchise. Luke McCown was the #2 here. He came in to mop up as Garrard played poorly against San Diego, and McCown injured his knee out for the season. That's why they needed a #2, and Edwards came available. Jones-Drew for 6.
But that's this league. I could tell you a story about what happened to me in an 8-day period, Mike. You know, the quarterback.
Hey, we have time right now. Go right ahead.
The quarterback and the coach, this is a results business, and they want immediate results. And they feel like Trent Edwards had plenty of opportunities in Buffalo. The results that they wanted, they didn't get. They moved on. And fortunate for him, he's got another opportunity with the Jaguars.
Jones-Drew carrying Tulloch a yard shy of the first down. Dave Ball there as well. I thought you were going to give us some stories, some of the quarterbacks you've
No, I was just saying
up.
I was coaching one day, and then 8 days later, I couldn't find a job. I couldn't even get a projector to look at tape until I met you guys. Thanks for that, man.
And how our lives have been enriched by it, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Silver.
3rd and a yard.
Certainly has, Don. I'll tell you that, man. He challenged us all.
Jones-Drew up the middle.
Fans are wondering why we're not hurrying up here a little bit. 9 minutes, inside of 9 minutes left.
Well, I can understand why they're not hurrying up. They probably got a quarterback that has a very limited playbook right now. Get that first score, then you may be getting a situation where you're only a couple scores behind.
The thing about Maurice Jones-Drew is you got to love the way this kid competes. And I know this after sitting down with him on the bus, the Monday Night Football bus, guys. He's a sore loser. This guy does not like to lose. He's dying to win.
I mean,
like a lot of pro football players. But,
yeah,
you know, this
exactly.
guy, Maurice Jones-Drew, he's special. He really has a lot of leadership and the right stuff about him. It's tough on Jack Del Rio, too. This team has been rebuilt in the last couple of years. Clearly, they have a long way to go.
Centimeters short. And Edwards sneaks for the first down. What is Chris Hope watching over there? He didn't get the first down. Come on, Chris.
Only by a yard.
Are you kidding me? You mentioned things that they need to do to rebuild here. This team was 5-11 2 years ago. They purged the roster. They were close to winning. They got guys in here off the 07 playoffs who were selfish. There was not a good mix in the locker room. They purged. Jack thought they overachieved to 5 wins 2 years ago, 7-9 last year. Missed the playoffs 8 times in the last decade. And continuing to keep it on the ground here in need of 3 touchdowns halfway through the 4th.
Maurice Jones-Drew in the carry.
Now I'm questioning a little bit. You got to try. You got to. I understand. You got Maurice Jones-Drew. You got this offensive line that's pretty good, but that clock's going tick, 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 and we're down to 7:25, and it's still moving, and they're huddling up, burning precious seconds.
This possession is taken over 7 minutes after the snap.
I don't get it.
Well, the last time they were inside the 5-yard line, they snapped the ball on the wrong count. Edwards got sacked immediately, and here they're just reversing and handing the ball off. Simple running plays.
You got a 6'6", 275-pound tight end in Lewis. You think you get inside that 5, you find a way to get him the football.
I don't see him on
not even on the field right now.
3rd and goal. Zach Potter came in motion. Have an offside flag. And we have an incompletion.
Flag on the play.
Offside. Defense number 78. Half the distance to the goal. Still 3rd.
Well, here comes Mercedes Lewis. The big tight end from UCLA had a key fumble earlier, but he does have 5 touchdown receptions in the first 5 games. He's been the go-to guy in these situations. Come on, man, give him a shot.
Edwards. Sims Walker looking for a flag. Get another shot at it on 4th down.
Well, it certainly looked like the Tennessee Titans were well aware of that rollout action. It seemed like the whole defense moved immediately to their left.
You know,
Nowhere
you're
to go with the
frustrated
ball.
with the Jaguars, Mike, Ron, but the Tennessee Titans, when you watch their film, I think they're the best red zone defense in football statistically, and when you see them in person, there's not a lot of places to go with the football, running or passing.
6 touchdowns, 23 red zone trips coming into the night. Best percentage in the league. Well, they run it 11 times on this drive. Now the last shot on this drive is an interception. Pulled away by Vincent Fuller in the end zone.
That's just good defense by the Tennessee Titans.
That's great defense by the Titans. That ball's up for grabs as Vincent Fuller rips it out.
16 plays, 8 minutes, nothing.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by EA Sports MMA. In stores October 19th. EA Sports, it's in the game. And GMC. Check out the GMC Never Say Never moment of the week at NFL.com/GMC.
Back in Jags. It's actually the 13th largest city population-wise. Very large geographic city. The metropolitan area is growing. It's not a major market yet in terms of NFL markets, but it's an area that's growing. Very popular area in North Florida. 6 minutes left, 23-3. Tennessee and Chris Johnson seeking and searching that one big run. Got 16 yards there. Let's go back to what should have been a touchdown, turned into a pick.
Well, if you're a quarterback and you squeezed in there like this, you expect your receiver to make a play on the ball. Underwood has it in his hands. Vincent Fuller just rips it out. You've got to make a play on this ball, Underwood. It's in the belly. Grab it, snatch it. It's yours. Gets taken away from him.
Fuller said the same thing, man.
Hey, I'm looking at it from a quarterback perspective, John.
Chris Johnson is trying so hard to bounce it outside and take one a long way.
Chris Johnson on the carry.
As he carries. There are 4 turnovers tonight, by the way, for Jacksonville, none for Tennessee.
You know, Kerry Collins was the quarterback last year. They were 0-6. I remember the snow game in New England. It was a 59-0 game. When they went to Vince Young, since that time, the Titans are 12-4. And they're playing good football in all 3 phases. I was really pleased with the way Vince Young came out tonight throwing the football, just like we thought they would, Ron, against this aggressive, loaded front of the Jaguars.
Johnson still a shot at 100 yards rushing here tonight.
John, you would love to call plays when you're loading the box with 8 and 9. I mean, you're going to get opportunities to the outside, and ultimately you start getting those balls down the field. Now you start to get 7 in the box. Now you get some space for Chris Johnson to operate in. Eventually, those early pass plays on first down early in the game are going to open that whole field up for Chris Johnson and the Titans running game. I love the approach tonight, and I loved it last week against Dallas when they got after it with the passing game.
Johnson finally to the bench, 22 carries, 71 yards. As you saw, Javon Ringer will keep the clock moving with a first down.
And let's go back and look at the first touchdown pass, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about right here. You got one-on-one, Kenny Britt on the outside. You got a safety deep middle, but Alexander just takes an awful angle. You know, the catch might be made, but you got to make the tackle, and Kenny Britt takes it in. A little later, you'll see right here, Bo Scape, a little rub on the outside. That's all you need. Just to force the linebacker, Kirk Morrison, to go underneath, and there's room there for Scape, and Collins squeezes it in. But you get those one-on-ones, wide receivers in this league should win. Tonight they've been winning for the Titans.
Well, Jack Del Rio was very frank with us when we visited Saturday. Ringer threw Alexander's tackle to the 40. He said we're searching back there at the safety spot. As we said at the top, Anthony Smith started the last 2 games and played a lot of snaps, played 64 and 56 snaps, and was traded to Green Bay.
Well, they had Reggie Nelson, a safety who was a first-round draft choice. They traded him to Cincinnati. They've had a revolving door at safety. But I do want to say this about Javon Ringer out of Michigan State. He's come in here tonight and run the ball well for the Tennessee Titans.
And he's actually been very good all season long, you know, spelling Chris Johnson. They're going to need him because, you know, you don't want to just beat Chris up running the football in there. In fact, I'm surprised he's still getting touches at this point in the game, but I guess he wants that 100.
Got 5 more there to get 76 yards. He's been held under 100 a couple of times this year against Pittsburgh and Denver, 34 and 53. But he's gained 100 yards in 7 consecutive road games, which is 3 shy of the NFL record held by Barry Sanders. Not a moment too soon. We've arrived at the 2-minute warning. 23-3, Titans on their way to a share of the South lead. Jacksonville's in Kansas City and Dallas the next couple of weeks. Still have visits to the Giants and division visits too all the way around. So a very tough schedule ahead for Jacksonville. This was a big night with a lot put in it. Credit to Wayne Weaver, the owner here in Jacksonville. Tony Baselli, the first pick in Jaguars history, who is the best player to ever put on this uniform in their first 16 years of existence. There's Tony doing the national radio sideline reporting here tonight. He has really helped identify the business community here to try to buy tickets and sell and support this organization. Durant tackles Johnson, and timeout taken here by the Jaguars. With $1:54 to go, and gives us a chance to step out for a quick second. Be right back. 4-2 Giants, led by Eli Manning, head down to Dallas for one of the great annual get-togethers. Giants Cowboys, and there's so much on the line for the 1-4 Cowboys. See you a week from tonight, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Texas time. As mentioned earlier, only one team has made the playoffs at 1-5. It's the Bengals in 70, year of the merger. And we'll see if the Cowboys can avoid going 1-5 a week from tonight.
Long season, Mike. Long season.
Chris Johnson continuing to try to break one of those big runs there. Cannot, stop at 35. And Jacksonville's going to burn another timeout. And we'll get you caught up on this.
Chris Johnson to walk here. Stop at number 9.
What's up? Stuart Scott with you. SportsCenter's next. Coming up on the GMC postgame report. Full highlights and analysis of this game. New rules concerning hard hits going into effect this weekend. Suspensions coming. And Cliff Lee just shuts down the Yankees. Baseball playoff stuff. It's all coming up, Mike.
All right, Stuart, thank you. We welcome those of you who watched the Rangers shut out the Yankees. Last out, that 8-0 win just recorded. Sorry, done it much better for you here. Rangers by 8, Titans by 20. 4th and 5. Chris Johnson's been hanging out in the game here. I don't know if they're trying to get him 100 yards. Popping outside, inside. Chris Johnson over 100 and into the end zone for a touchdown.
That's a fitting end to this game. Just a simple power play off the left side. Johnson picks up a perimeter block, and he's gone. Watch the block coming in on your left side by number 17, Damian Williams. That's the 8th straight road game, Mike, that Chris Johnson's gone over 100 yards.
Yeah, too shy of Barry Sanders. I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask why Johnson was still in the game at this point. You know, a lot of people say it's the pros. Go stop him. You know, figure out a way to stop him. And of the millions of people who play fantasy football, a lot of folks' games were just decided on that play. Right? 30-3. For what it's worth, Chris Johnson's 8th straight 100-plus rushing yard effort on the road. Too shy of Barry Sanders' mark of 10. 111. He carried on 7 of the 9 snaps on that drive for 66 yards. So the numbers will look good. They had him shut down for most of the game. 30-3. They play at San Diego, at Miami, their next 2 road games. This part of a stretch of the Titans playing 4 of 5 on the road. They have Philadelphia back in Nashville on Sunday. Kareem from a yard deep. Muffed the catch. Brought down to 17. Jermaine Winborn back on this team. He was cut last week and returned to the roster this week.
What I like about Tennessee, I like the way they run to the ball and gang tackle. Let's take a look at this handoff. Watch how many Tennessee Titans get to the ball. 5 of them. I love this. I could watch this all night. Tennessee Titan effort. Look at this. There's 4 Tennessee Titans on the tackle and 2 watching.
You have been watching it all night.
I'm telling you, that doesn't just happen.
Right.
That's something that's hard to do.
With Babin in there, still pass rushing here at the end of the game. Pass is caught by Potter.
These guys are great
Miller.
defensive coaches. They demand effort, and these players love to give it. You got to be an athlete. You got to be a guy that really loves football to flourish at Tennessee, and they've got a bunch of them. There's another one right there.
But, John, doesn't everybody love to play?
Yeah, some love it more than others, Jaws.
All right.
And when you play for this Washburn, this defensive line coach of the Titans, look at this guy. I mean, he is as good as there is coaching defensive line. You know, I've had a chance to go to a lot of different teams. You've been in it 37 years. I've been in it a few years. There's not many guys like this guy. Players love him and they respect him.
Well, you got a sack there. I would suggest let's run the ball and get the heck out of here.
Yeah, you're looking at a tight end playing quarterback. Next.
You already have Garrard hurt. Edwards is your only quarterback on the roster. I'm sure they'll get Keith Null back in here, who's on the practice squad. The pictures need no words.
I don't get it.
Jacksonville,
30-3.
going to fall here. Only a game out in the division. As I said, the schedule is going to be really tough on them just in terms of the division, because in the last 5 games they have to go to all their division teams at Tennessee, at Indy, and they close on the 2nd of January in Houston. And Edwards out of Stanford goes to Zach Miller out of Nebraska, Omaha.
Edwards pass complete to number 86, Zach Miller. Tackle made by number 22, Vincent Fuller.
4th down coming up.
Tennessee did what they came here to do. Convincing road victory. They beat Dallas in Dallas last week. They thought a lot of people they'd come in here with the big head. You know, Ron? Not these Titans.
Shy of the first down with 1 second left. And now 0-0. Mercifully, someone had a slow finger. And for the first time in a couple of years here, the Titans didn't allow a touchdown in a game. Just a field goal. 30-3 our final. So it's Tennessee, Houston, and Indianapolis atop the AFC South. Convincing win for the Titans over the Jaguars. Johnson goes over 100 yards. Both quarterbacks, starters, knocked out with injury. Maurice Jones-Drew held in check, 17 carries, 57 yards. And we'll see the other teams at the top of the AFC South in 2 weeks. Houston and Indy will meet in Indianapolis. 30-3 tonight with John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Michelle Tafoy, our great Monday night crew, Mike Tirico saying good night, Jacksonville. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Sports Center next to the Giants Cowboys a week from now.
See you next week in Dallas.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.